I was inspired by Spilled Ink where Emi Richu and Didus designed Collab Cafe menu items based on themselves. I wanted to do that too, but I replaced the entree for another dessert. I knew that I wanted to do a jelly soda for the drink, but I was stuck between a cake and a parfait for the dessert, so I decided, why not both? I was too lazy to draw 4 illustrations though. Anyways, I guess we'll get started with the cake then, since it takes the longest time to prepare. For the cake, I wanted it to be based on my hat. The cake itself representing the shell, although my shell is pretty dark. I still wanted the desserts to be representative of flavor profiles that I would enjoy personally. For example, if I prioritized the looks of the cake over the taste, I would make it a black velvet. However, I prefer my cakes a lot less rich and much more light and fluffy. Instead, the cake will be a pandan chiffon. I also want to represent the skeets found on a turtle shell, and I was thinking of dividing them using some sort of topping. And what better flavor than coconut to pair with the pandan? For the skull, it will be made with a custom silicone mold filled with white chocolate. Lastly, the net and flippers. I originally wanted to assemble cut pieces of pandan leaves and slide it underneath the cake, but I think it would be more fun to be able to eat all parts of the dessert. So I thought of cutting up fruit roll-ups to resemble the flippers, specifically the blue-green ones. Finally, the net will be a chocolate drizzle in which the cake will sit on top of. Now that we've got our ingredients, let's bake and begin the speed paint. I don't really have anything insightful to say, so I'm just gonna read a recipe that I found on the internet. This one's posted by Viet World Kitchen. Alright, for the ingredients, you need 10 to 12 ounces of frozen pandan leaves thawed, 1/3 a cup of coconut milk, 8 ounces of cake flour, half teaspoon of fine sea salt, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 10.5 ounces sugar, 7 large egg yolks, half a cup of canola or vegetable oil, 1 to 2 teaspoons of vanilla, which is optional, 8 large egg whites, and 1 teaspoon of cream of tartar. Now for the instructions. Position a rack in the middle of the oven and preheat to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Have an ungreased round tube cake pan handy. Use scissors to cut the pandan leaves into short pieces, no more than 1 inch long. In 2 batches, blend the cut leaves with coconut milk in a food processor until it looks like bits of grass. Pause and push it down as needed. Transfer to a thin cloth such as a piece of muslin. Firmly squeeze to render the opaque green liquid into a measuring cup to stir the solids. When done with both batches, you should have about 14 tablespoons total. Add water if you needed to get that quantity, or remove some of the liquid if you have too much. In a large bowl, whisk together the flour, salt, baking powder, and all but 1/4 cup of the sugar. In another bowl, whisk together the pandan and coconut liquid, egg yolks, and oil. Whisk the liquid into the dry ingredients until well blended and smooth. Taste the batter, and if you like, add the vanilla. Set aside. Using an electric mixer on a low speed, beat the egg whites for about 15 seconds to break them up and get them a bit frothy. Then sprinkle in the cream of tartar as the machine runs. Increase the speed to medium, then gradually add the sugar. When the sugar has been added, increase the speed to high and beat the egg whites until stiff peaks start to form. Stop the machine to check. Take out 1/4 of the egg whites and swiftly stir with a spatula to blend and lighten the batter a bit. Now scoop the remaining egg whites into the batter. Use cut and fold motions to combine the ingredients. Few thin streaks of white in the batter are okay. Pour the very green batter into the pan and shake it a bit to smooth out the top. Slide the pan into the oven and bake for 55 to 60 minutes until a bamboo skewer inserted comes out clean. Hold the cake on a rack for 5 minutes. Let the cake cool for 1 hour. Slice and serve. Yippee! Oh wait, the speed paint's almost over. Let's wait for the cake to cool down and move on to the parfait. I'll save the final reveal for the end when all desserts have been completed. The parfait isn't based off of any specific aspect of my VTuber design, just turtles generally. I thought it would be cool to recreate a little beach inside the parfait glass in which a small turtle cookie will sit on top of. For the ice cream, I thought it would be smart to make it a blue sea salt flavor to represent the ocean. The base flavor will be vanilla bean because it's my favorite and typically works well with a wide range of toppings. A layer of whipped cream will be added on top of the ice cream to resemble the sea foam. For the sand, it will be a mix of crushed vanilla cookies and graham crackers. Sitting on top, of course, is our turtle cookie with another scoop of ice cream filling the empty space. Chunks of blueberries, honeydew, and edible pearls will also be featured on top of the sand layer. Finally, a large turtle melon pond will sit on top of the rim to finish it off. Now that we've got our ingredients, let's bake and begin the speed paint. In the description, I wrote that I'm using both ibispaint and procreate. 99% of the time, I use ibispaint for everything, but for the cake and parfait, I used both drawing programs. There's this Japanese illustrator on Twitter called Fine, and they draw realistic desserts, and they actually show what brushes they use to draw their illustrations. They even published a cake brush set for free. It's only available on Procreate though, so I caved basically. 4 years ago, Younger Turtle asked, I wonder how long I'll stay stubborn till I download Procreate. Well, here's your answer, 2022 Turtle. Anyways, it was a huge help for the green parts of the cake. As for the parfait, I just wanted to try out the default brushes. I mean, I did spend $13 for this app, so might as well. I did switch back over to ibispaint though. I don't really like Procreate's UI, or maybe I'm just too familiar with ibispaint. I don't know. Looks like we're reaching the end of the speed paint, so let's move on to the final dessert. Finally, the jelly soda. Although not a traditional dessert, it's kind of like a drink dessert. Anyhow, the soda will be based off my lantern. The drink will even be served in a lantern-shaped cup with LED modules installed into the base to glow. Kind of like the one sold at Disney's Animal Kingdom. But what kind of soda will this be? I wanted something with deep sea vibes. Something visually appealing, but what kind of drink would have that kind of effect? The first things that come to mind are those bright ombre cocktails. Let's just turn whatever we choose into a mocktail and replace the alcohol with club soda or something. After all, we need to milk as much money from every age demographic. As I was browsing for a fitting cocktail, I stumbled across this black opal drink. It seemed pretty fitting. As for the blue carousel liqueur, let's switch it out for a non-alcoholic syrup. The jellyfish will be represented by cut-up gelatin cubes floating inside. For the flavor, I chose Baja Blast due to its similar teal color. Now that we've got our ingredients, let's bake and begin the speed paint. I got really lazy with this one. I copy-pasted my lantern folder from my VTuber model and simplified the cup design to be easier to hold and drink from. We're just about wrapped up with the speed paint, so on to the final reveal. Although I don't draw food often, I had fun coming up with these desserts. I actually don't bake, so I don't really know if these would taste good. It would be cool to make these in real life, though. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and wait, when do turtles talk?